So there are never actually planes that fly over my house because it never happens. And of course, the second I press the button to record on the camera, there's a plane flying overhead, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get out of the audio. But you know, you're not here because of my editing skills. You're here for soap, probably. But before I tell you all about the soap that we're making today, hello, I am Mrs. Soap and Clay. Let's make stuff. How's it going, sudsers? Welcome back to the channel. You are at Soap and Clay, where we make all the soapy things, and you are here for day 334 of 365 days of soap, and we are doing another Amy Warden Soap challenge thing. Now, this month we will be reviewing a bunch of scents from Maple Street Candle Company, which is, again, candles, but so is Nature's Garden candles, and a lot of their scents can actually be used in both. And so I picked a whole bunch of soap-friendly scents that I've never played with before, and we will be testing them throughout the month of March, and you get to be along for that cool ride. Yes, awesome. For the design for the Amy Warden Soap challenge thing, it's the ultra thin lines design thing, and I was actually super excited to do this one because it involves manipulating the soap batter, like skewering it in ways that you're not supposed to. Like I always tell people in classes, okay, if you mess with the soap batter too much, it's gonna go gray. So just keep that in mind. And for this one, you do nothing but mess with the soap batter. So it's very exciting. And I'm like really excited to actually go and talk about this cool process, you know, with you right now. So let's go do that. I am seriously so excited to do this. Let me tell you why. So, okay, first up, hail and clay, dispersed in water. Yes, this is the scent that we are looking at for today. Maple Street Candle Company, smoked vanilla. Vanillin is 8.3, so it is going to discolor for sure. And so my thought process on this is the bulk of the soap will be white. I will put nothing in it at all except for the kaolin, and then have the 5 little, you know, fancy colors or whatever, and I want to see, and the bulk of the scent is going to go into the white portion, and I'm gonna try to, you know, have the discoloration work in my favor, essentially. So the bar will be brown with all these beautiful colors. That said, the way that this pour is done, the way that this technique goes, involves manipulating the batter in ways that soap makers never ever manipulate batter. Like, it's always the thing, like, yeah, skewer and swirl and whatever, but if you swirl too much, you're gonna end up with a big muddy mess. But this soap technique requires that. And I'm so excited for that. Like, I love thin lines in general. Really thin batter is totally my bag. Like, that's my jam. That's my favorite thing ever. And so thin lines designs, be it for like a wood grain soap or, you know, whatever, love them so much. But I have never done them by pouring, but I've never done it this way. And so I'm super excited because, I don't know, it's totally reminding me of back on July when Soap and Clay Kidlet number 2 made a batch of soap, and she's just putting all this stuff into the slab, right? And then she starts skewering it around, and I told her at that point, I'm like, well, if you skewer it too much, it's all just gonna go gray. And she's like, Mom, I know what I'm doing. Leave me alone. And her soap was gorgeous. And so it's something kind of like that. And so, yeah, I'm super, super excited to do this one. Like, much more excited than I was with anything that I'd ever done for any of the stuff in February because my God, those challenges, there was a, yeah, no, that, but this one's going to be fun for sure. So now the trick with this, again, a very, very thin batter is what we're looking for here. And so I didn't really mix it a whole lot with the stick blender, and I'm definitely just using skewers and everything to work the color into the soap batter itself. And I'm just going to pour a little teeny tiny bit of the scent into each of these containers, assuming I have enough micas in all of these that it won't discolor too terribly much. But again, as you'll see in the pour, I think it's all going to merge anyway. So the discoloring may be very, very interesting as these bars cure with that, with the smoked vanilla scent and the vanillin content being so terribly high. So, you know, it's all going to be fun, and whatever the bar ends up looking like, it's going to smell amazing because this scent slaps. It's so good. Like, yes, it's great. And I'm super duper excited for this pour. So let's go pour this bar, and I can tell you more about the actual technique and like the whole point of all of it during the pour. So let's go check that out. Yeah, so this pour, the entirety of the white is going to go into a slab mold. And again, we're looking at very thin batter. We want reasonably thin batter so we can continue to manipulate it a lot, really. And so all of the white is going to go into the mold, and then I'm going to take all of the different colored portions and just stripe them down the length of the mold, pouring high to get the color all the way down to the bottom of the slab, and then lowering my container as I, you know, continue my passes so there's color at the top, obviously. Now all of these colored portions are going to be about an inch or so apart in order to get some white in between the two. All the things. It's cool. And one of the reasons why maybe you don't want your batter this thin is for the blue that you can see the migration there as I'm pouring the yellow. The blue is coming along for the ride. But also, once you see how this is accomplished in doing these ultra thin horizontal swirls, I think you're going to see that it doesn't really matter if the soap moves at this point, the colored sections, because I'm about to move them all around, and it's so exciting. This was, as soon as I saw how this technique was done, I went, yeah, no, I want to try it. I totally want to try it, because this is sort of goes against everything that we as soap makers do. We don't play with your batter too much. Don't, you know, and this is seriously playing with your batter a whole hell of a lot, and I am looking forward to it. Now that everything is in the mold, I'm going to take a paintbrush, and the bottom of the paintbrush I'm just going to take and just go back and forth, essentially right over the exact same area I just, you know, did a back and forth with, and just slightly move my paintbrush, you know, closer to the other side every 2 or 3 passes. Now, the paintbrush is at the very, very bottom of the handle of the paintbrush is at the very, very bottom of the mold. So I am skewering the entire soap right now and really working all of those colors into each other, into the white, all of the jazz. And yeah, no, this is this was the most fun I think I've had in soaping in such a long time. Like, it was just, it's delightful. Look at the way that I'm just shifting you don't do this with soap. You don't just, you're messing up the design. The designs are going to be, you know, all the colors are going to muddy together. And that may still be true because this scent discolors. But, you know, we're going to find out. And look how cool those lines look. And you can go back and, you know, play with stuff to, you know, go back over the stuff that you want to be, you know, more mixed, really. And, yeah, do the thing. Like, there's no real right way to do this. And the whole way is just cool. And it's creating this really awesome, like, watercolor effect in the soap, and I'm like, I am enjoying this so much as I'm doing this. Now again, I am interested to see what it does with the scent because of the discoloration. Because my thought process was, if the base of the bar goes brown, that's totally fine, as long as those colors, you know, retain their prettiness or whatever. But I don't really know if that's going to be the case, because I am working the batter into itself so much that there's going to be some very real scent transfer, and therefore the discoloration transfer throughout all of these colors as well. So I'm very interested to see this bar tomorrow and see what it starts doing as far as discoloration goes. But for this, it's like super, super beautiful. And I'm here for it to see, you know, what it all ends up looking like, really. Sorry, I just got a notice from the alarm company for the shop, and so I got distracted for a minute. Everything's fine at the shop. It's just it's a very good alarm company. It's a very good service. Yeah, so I decided to mess around with this because this is an optional thing with this ultra horizontal thin lines, you know, challenge thing. And the gal who was teaching it, she scored off her bars, like where they were going to be cut, and then actually like continued to draw in the things and like separate them more. And then she put little swirly swirls in each of the essentially, you know, individual bars or where they're going to be. And so I thought that would be kind of fun. Like, why not? Let's try that. I wasn't ready to say goodbye to this soap anyway, you know, and I wasn't ready to put it in the oven. So I was, sure, I'll do this. And ultimately, I don't think I'm going to end up actually cutting it on those lines. And so it super doesn't matter, but you know, whatever. And I'm really not going to cut it on that line. It's all crooked, and I think I got my finger. I am a disaster. I shouldn't do some things just across the board, like that one also. That's disastrous. All crooked lines, but I just wanted to play, and you know, whatever. Like I said, I was not ready to put this into the oven yet. Like, no, because I was having so much fun doing the things. But this will be put into the oven for sure, for C-pop and gel, because I'm pouring it so thin and I just barely hit an emulsion. And so what I really want to do is spritz the top of this with rubbing alcohol, and then cover it and get it into the oven right away, so we don't develop any soda ash on these beautiful bars, and you know, really help the whole saponification thing, you know, have it. Holy shit, I forgot that I did that. Yeah, so that's a disaster. I grabbed a towel and there was a skewer attached to it, and so I'm just gonna fix that a little bit, I guess. But hey, I get to play with the soap batter more, so that's fine. That's fun. It's cool. Yes. And yeah, no, this will get put in the oven for C-pop and gel, and I'm so looking forward to cutting this. And you know, I get to cut it tomorrow. You get to see it in the next slide. So I'm going to leave it right here and dream about this awesome soap until I get to cut it. And on to the cut for this guy. I actually let this set for around 3 days before cutting it, just to see how much this discolored. And the answer is, it discolored a crap ton. Now, remember, I didn't put this scent into any of the colored portions. I mean, maybe a little bit, but the majority of it did not get scented for the colored portions. The white part got scented. And the vanillin content on this was 8.3%. So, you know, if you ever wondered just how much discoloration comes from different things, 8.3% means almost complete and total discoloration. So there you go. It's all good though. This particular bar smells so amazing. I love this scent blend so much. I would actually consider buying this again and making it a permanent fixture in my line. And I almost never say that about anything anymore, because I don't really make things permanent fixtures in my line these days. So yes, love it a lot. And so I would probably not do a pour like this again. I would, you know, do solid color dark bars, because I know that it's going to discolor a lot. But it still looks cool, doesn't it? With all the, I mean, it's a cool like wood grain type thing or whatever. And you'll see here in a minute, the inside of the bars, they're not discolored yet. And the reason they're not discolored yet is because those bits have not been exposed to air yet. So once they get exposed to air, they are going to start discoloring. And a lot of the bar is going to be, you know, kind of browny. But still very pretty. I like it. And the scent blend itself, it's like I said, the scent blend is so good that I would not care about discoloration. But also, I would not try to do a pour like this with this particular scent blend, you know, ever again, really. And, I mean, eventually I'm going to show you the inside, right? Yeah, there we go. See? So pretty on the inside. It looks lovely. And those side pieces will also discolor within the next week or so. They will be looking more like the top or the back to that. But nothing wrong with the pour itself. Nothing wrong with the fragrance oil. It performed beautifully. And the bars are very well formed. Big delightful bubble with these because I have since tested them. So there's that. And yeah, no, I really do want to try this pour again. The Soap Apprentice and I have been talking about redoing, once we're done with all the soap challenges, we've been talking about redoing all of the one pour that we really want to do again, either because we completely screwed it up or because we just like the pour. And I really liked this pour. Getting to, I don't know, over skewer soap, that did it for me. That was amazing. I loved that. Yes, it was awesome. I am going to plane a couple of these bars down though, so you can better see the top design, you know, right now. And it will still continue to discolor even after I plane some of the stuff down. But, you know, just to give you an idea what the overall design ended up being and what it ended up looking like without all the massive discoloration. See if we can cut a little bit of it off and see. And yeah, that's actually really cool. Like I said, even this scent blend, if you were just to use browns and blacks and grays, it would make a really lovely wood grain for sure. Doing a pour like this specifically, it's another way to do a wood grain. And I love that because I know something like 12 different ways to do wood grains. And I think I've shown you, you know, 3 or 4 of them. So now I know 13 and I've shown you 4 or 5 of them. And that's awesome because me and wood grain soaps, we have a relationship. Me and thin line soaps, we have a relationship. And now that I've done this ultra thin lines horizontal design thing because of the soap challenge, I have a relationship with this pour too. Definitely a fan just across the board. And that is day 334, my attempt at the ultra thin lines design challenge thing from Amy Warden. And she's pretty. Yeah, so much fun. This would actually be, especially if you're working with scents that discolor, like this one in particular, this would be a really, really fun one to use for like a wood grains soap. If you're wanting to like really perfect your wood grain techniques, lots and lots of different ways to do a wood grain. I think this is one that you could definitely like squeeze in and get really good results every single time. For sure. The scent blend on this one, really, really good. I knew it was going to discolor coming in just based on the vanillin notes. And so, you know, it is what it is. I actually used that to my advantage with this one and it's all beautiful. The scent was very strong after saponification. So that's all awesome. And I really love this bar just across the board. I'll be interested to see how much it continues to brown, you know, in the middle now that it's all been exposed to air. So yes, if you're interested in this soap, you can get it tomorrow after the Soap Apprentice has her turn with the Ultra Thin Lines Challenge thing for sure at soapandclay.com. That would be excellent. If you're interested in seeing, you know, what we do for the rest of this year project and whether or not we have a year 2, subscribe to the channel. That will help me decide whether or not I'm going to keep this going. That would be excellent. For those of you who are subscribed, hey, you're one of the factors in me deciding whether or not I'm going to keep this going, and you are excellent. So thank you. Really, seriously, thank you for joining me for another round of 365 days of soap. I'm out of here for today. I will see you guys all again tomorrow for another round of soapy fun. Bye.